Hello everybody, today I will be showing you the tutorial on how to create the Jumbo Jet that I showed in my last video. Um, I have all of the materials right here that you will need. This is the exact count except for maybe the torches, because I cannot remember how many torches I had before I broke a second Jumbo Jet that I had in order to get the exact materials. Um, so give or take a few torches. I will try to have the exact amount of torches in the description. So if you wanted to pause the video here to see the amount for everything, or you can just read the description down below. Um, you might find a better way to start off the build. Um, I'm going to quickly show you why I do this the way that I do, because unless they happen to patch it since I last tried this, um, you cannot use the jack to make this build. And the reason for that is with the jack, you can place any of these vehicle bases, basically however many you want. If you had the resources, I, funnily enough, am out of the resources. Go back and get some more granite. I think I put it in here accidentally. Yeah. Okay. As I was saying, um, with the vehicle bases, you can place as many as you want, it seems like, together, and the jack works pretty well. And for some reason, with the foundations that I used to make the Jumbo Jet, the jack breaks immediately whenever I place the second one down. So I'll show you an example of that real fast. So I used these, and as soon as I put the second one, boom, jack is gone. So, in order to do this the easiest way that I have figured out so far, we're going to use some small granite foundations. And I'm going to build 6 high. You need a pretty big flat area. 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go 1 over and then build another tower of 6. It helps if you build straight to begin with. This will give you plenty of room to work under the Jumbo Jet and get all of the thrusters and suspensions placed exactly. So I'm going to start off like this, and I'm going to snap it so that it's centered on that piece. Then I'm going to snap it to the right of this one and to the left. And now we need some pieces down this way. I'm going to do it about right here. There's not a... I didn't count this the first time. It might be 4 or 5 pieces. I'll try 5 and see if it works out. I believe I need some of this granite for the stuff I'm building, so getting some of it back since I only need the pillars. Okay. We're going to go back over to the medium dynamic foundation and place it snapped to the back of those. And I'm going to be referencing this a lot, so you might see me go back and forth quite a bit as I do that. This for the wings. Let's see here. I lined it up exactly with where these met. So easiest way to do it is snap it and just move it over to where it's lined up. Then you can snap that one there. And there are the wings. Alright, and then so on the front, I used the biggest suspension, suspension 5. And I centered it and had it back to about there. So that is 2 pegs, or however you want to count those, and then the suspension. I'm going to double check real fast to make sure I remembered that correctly. Yes, that's correct. Okay. All the other suspensions, I used the suspension 4. For this, for each suspension on the wings, what I did was I got it centered as far as looking at it from this angle left and right. I went forward as far as possible until it turned red, brought it back here, and from the first green spot it can be placed, I moved it back towards me 14 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And I do that on each wing. The worst part is your character is sometimes in the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then as far as the back suspensions, they are also 2 pegs over and then the suspension. Right there. And right there. I use the large wheels on all of it. So steerable wheels need to go in the front. You can just easily snap it to the edge. And then powered wheels on all of the others. And the reason I did 14 is you will see that it perfectly lines up with the edge of the wing when we do 14 over like that. On the back, I do not put a wheel in the middle. It's not needed, and there's also no space for it. One thing that is important not to forget, all of your wheels, so we are making the plane face this way going forward. So all the wheels on this side will be going the wrong direction. My bad. I am not looking close enough. So all the wheels from this side are going the wrong direction, so you will need to change those. Alright, and now we need to get the thrusters. And once we get the thrusters on the bottom, that will complete the bottom of it, where we technically will no longer need it propped up in the air. If you're like me, you sometimes forget where all of the thrusters are in the menus. There is one slight tweak that I've made to this build that was not shown in the video of this jumbo jet flying in the air. In the video, if you remember, there were 2 large thrusters on the front. in front of the suspension. When I first took it, after the video, I took it on a long distance flight, and it kept tilting up in the air every time that I was flying. Um, every time I was telling it to go forward and gain altitude. And so to fix that, I've knocked it down to only one in the center. I've only got one in the center now. So I'm going to just completely center it, and I push it, I nudge it forward just to see when it goes red, and then pull it back to where it's in the first green spot. That way there's still plenty of space and it doesn't like stick way out of the front or anything like that. As for the other thrusters, these might be a little more difficult to notice. So I am 3 over and in the like cross section of that, basically where the two foundations meet. So we're right there. 3 over in a cross section. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. If you've not experimented much with flying vehicles, you will want to make pay very close attention as you are making these to make sure they are balanced on each side. I have a small airplane that I was making a second one for my friend, and whenever I went to fly it, it slightly started tilting in one direction. And it ended up being one thruster that was literally only one peg off, as opposed to how it looked on the other side, on the other wing. And that was causing it to tilt in the air. So you got to make sure it is symmetrical. You got to make sure it is all balanced. So after that one, there is one more that I place on the bottom. And it is in the center, and it is one peg away. It's one peg offset, so it's not completely lined up with the other three. So the other three, if I go this way, you'll see it's kind of lined up right here. Looks like it might actually be two. Two if you nudge it twice, once it's lined up. Let me go double check. Okay, forget that thruster. I am thinking of my small plane. Let's go back to the other model. These are the two that we're missing. Okay, so what I did for each of these, there's 2 thrusters on the back here. I got it centered with the suspension. And then once it turned green, I nudged it twice back towards the middle of the plane. One, two. Just want to make sure you got that centered because that block kind of makes it difficult to see. And now that I'm looking at it, I actually have the suspension off center. Which would go back to what I was talking about, where you have to get it balanced. Make sure everything is symmetrical. And I did it again. There we go. Okay. So I believe that is everything on the base as far as what we need it to be propped up in the air to build. I'm going to do one more final check real fast. Alright, and I can confirm that is everything. So at this point, you can continue building. You can just build a ladder up top and continue to build. Or you can go ahead and knock it down to the ground to where it's sitting on the wheels. That's what I'm going to do now, because it'll be easier to get up on and build stuff. I've had a couple of instances where I built a ladder close to a vehicle, and as soon as I placed the ladder, there's apparently a glitch where it made all of the thrusters, wheels, and balloons shatter, and they all disintegrated. So I don't really like building ladders near my vehicles anymore. I recommend knocking out the top piece first so that it's still not attached once it falls to the ground. As you can see with the other one, there's plenty of space to walk up under it and hit it off of there. I'm doing this in a way where I knocked out the middle one. Now I'm going to knock out one from each side to try to minimize. Once I knock off to where it's only one pillar holding it, it's going to try to slide off of it. So I'm just trying to make sure it won't slide in a way that it might damage stuff. So if I knock this one down next, there's not really hardly anything next to this pillar, so it should be pretty safe. Okay, and now we have the base of the plane. Next, we will place the enclosed cabin rear. I'm going to rotate it around to where the flat surface is on the back, and I'm going to line it up exactly with the very edge. It is easiest to do from the other piece, which is why I jumped over. Make sure it's lined up. Alright. Next we can place the medium power centers. You can have them face whatever direction you want to. I put them right up against the back here. And I liked placing the yellow caution looking area at the top facing each other towards the middle. Back here we can add some more thrusters. I put 4 along the back. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so there's those 4, and then I put 3 big thrusters on this piece here. 2 right next to each other, and then 1 right above the middle most thruster, so this one is closest to the center of the plane. Do not die from starvation as you build. Make sure it's exactly in the corner. Alright. Then as far as the wings, on each side, I placed it to where the edge of the thruster the furthest most thruster kind of lines up with the edge of the yellow block. And then I just put 2 more right next to it. All right. It seems I've actually forgotten 2 thrusters on the bottom, but there's plenty of space down here to correct that. So I kind of line it up with the center of the left side of the big suspension on the front. Nudge it until it turns green coming towards me, and then I move it 2 more towards me. I'm going to do the same thing right here. 1, 2. Alright, and that is all the thrusters. Next we have the chests, which you can do these in any order that you want to. The main thing as far as the order is that you complete the base first before you knock it down so that you can easily get everything lined up on the bottom. The first time that I built the jumbo jet, I built it without it being propped up in the air because of the jack falling down, and I had to keep using balloons on each side to prop it up while I was building under it, which made it difficult and slow. So I lined the chests up at the edge of the back pieces, right up against where the pegs turn to the black color. And then for the chairs, or the seats, I used the vehicle seat medium. I believe I did... So I placed that one. You'll see there's 2 full pegs before the base of the seat, and between the base of the seat and the black piece of the back of this foundational piece. And then from there, I'll line up the next seat and move 9 nudges forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then from there, 8 more forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It apparently does not like how I was placing that. Let's do it from this angle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to place that person right about the front. And then from there you can pretty easily just line it up. I believe that's off. And then I put the captain's seat right around here. Pretty sure I used a large driver's seat. Let me double check, because otherwise our materials will not work out correctly. Yes, okay. After that, we are just missing the balloons and the lights and the power cells. Power cells are very self-explanatory. Go ahead and just place 2 in each power center. For the balloon placements, you just nudge it directly into the corner, each corner of the wing, the outer corners, and a big balloon right at the edge where they meet at near the edge, but you'll see how it kind of curves right there. I put it right before it curves. Alright. The last two, I believe, are right next to a blue peg. Yeah, they're right next to the blue peg, next to the rear seat. Right there. And right there. That is all the balloons that you will need for it to descent slowly enough to not crash on impact, to not disintegrate, basically. The last thing is the lights. I like using these because it has the lights built in and you don't even need glass. I just put one on the center of each of these foundations, and then I put one on the center of these suspensions on the side. For some reason, it keeps thinking that this is moving up and down, and that keeps messing with the build. Alright, the last thing to do is use a wrench, which I left in my toolbox, so I have to go get it real fast. So each wing will have its own channel. I like to use channel 2 on the right wing. And disable channel 3. And I like to use channel 1 on the left wing. You can do it however you want to. Just as long as each wing has its own channel, separate from the bottom and back thrusters. The bottom and back thrusters I just leave on the default channel 3. And that should be everything. Let me double check that I'm not forgetting anything. It is also, as you can tell, glitchy sometimes when you try to jump on top of a tire. Okay, finally got up here. Okay, that looks like everything. So, last thing to do is just test it out. And it works. With how big this plane is, I highly recommend landing it in water, and then you can just use the thrusters on each wing to guide it into shore. Otherwise, you're going to look for a large, flat area, which may be kind of hard to do since LEGO Fortnite tends to be very hilly. So I use channel 1 just to use only those thrusters to turn it. Use channel 2 to only use the thrusters on the right wing to turn that. And just guide it into shore. While it's on shore, you can use the wings on the thrusters to help turn it as well. on top of using the powered wheels and steerable wheels. And that's it. That's how you build the Jumbo Jet. Uh, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. If you want to see any of the other builds, I don't have a whole lot uploaded at the moment, but if you want to see how to build like the small airplane, I can do that. The Skylift roller coaster, unfortunately, I won't be able to do a tutorial of that one. That one is too tedious and not very fun to build. So, um, let me know any comments that you may have. This is the first time I've ever made a tutorial video, so if you have any feedback, let me know. Just don't be mean about it. I can take constructive criticism, but you know, there's a difference between constructive criticism and just flat out being mean. So, thanks everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hope you have a great rest of your day.